Okay, welcome everyone to this roundtable. Really happy to see all these faces and have a good discussion. So I'm Maya, and this is the long title of my roundtable, which really, in essence, is just getting at how do we get towards integrating all these imaging results and information that we have about the brain together to get a more holistic picture of the relationship between brain and behavior. And so part of this roundtable was born out of my own experiences in graduate school. I was new to brain imaging, and just seeing the sheer landscape of what you can do, all these different methods and avenues that you can potentially explore, and not necessarily knowing like which one to go down, because there's all merit in all of them. But besides that, in general, we're like in a era of a technological renaissance. It's kind of how I think about it. We have all this new big data to answer new research questions and kind of improve technologies that are more sensitive to signals both spatially and temporally. But a lot of this progress, at least from my perspective, has been done largely siloed. So like say I'm biased with fMRI, kind of focused just on fMRI and its methods, and a lot of the findings that we have in that domain don't necessarily get cross-communicated with, say, like EEG. And so part of this roundtable was to kind of like encourage people to contextualize the results outside of their immediate silos, and I'll start with a cartoon example of why this is important. So say like you're just given a small piece of information about this scenario. There's a guy stranded on an island, and he sees like someone on a boat in the distance. And if this was the only information we had, we kind of just be biased of like the guy sees a boat and he wants to go on it. But there's another side to it where the person on the boat sees the person on the piece of land and is happy about getting off the boat to get on the land. And so with these two different perspectives, we get a different contextualization of the scenario at present, but together we can get a more holistic understanding of how the two perspectives can exist in tandem. And that's kind of what I want to encourage in our field, considering all these perspectives at once. And so I call this integrative analysis, which is not a new term or idea. It's been increasing over the years, both empirically and also with some recent op-eds. But for this roundtable, since integrative analysis can mean a lot of different things, I've broken it down into like 4 main components that I think that we're in a position to really like dive in deep into with the technological advances that we have now. So the first one, which you probably are most familiar with, is like multimodal imaging. Then we'll go into multi-scale, which is both spatial and temporal. Then multi-species, which is becoming more increasingly popular. And then one of the more overlooked ones is multi-geographical, and moving beyond just the concept of inter-country, like different countries, but within the country, there's different regions of how people live. Like in the rural areas, they have different environmental exposures and priorities, which can shape how their brain activity is. And so here are 4 speakers who will be representing these perspectives. I'll introduce them individually when the time comes. But just to give an overview of this format, each of the speakers is going to be talking for 5 to 6 minutes, and then I'm going to open with like a 2-part open question for them to answer. And then we have audience-driven questions that if you scan this QR code or go to this website, that you can anonymously post questions that I'll just call out to guide the discussion later. Okay, so to begin, 1 second, I might bias. Our first speaker is Katie Chang, and she's an assistant professor of electrical and computer engineering at Vanderbilt University. Her research is focused on multimodal and computational analysis methods for functional neuroimaging. Okay. Just press this to advance.
Okay, gotcha.